Communism, communist. These are popular words in political discourse. People love to accuse others of being communist. People love to accuse things of being communism. Some people claim to themselves be communist. But what is communism? Communism, like any political term, has an array of definitions. Political terms tend to be defined in whatever way is most politically convenient. People use whatever definition best suits their political goals. This has given rise to countless alternative definitions. The opponents of every belief system have one definition, and the advocates of that belief system have a different definition. Most political discourse is miscommunication. When we debate, we don't talk to people so much as we talk past them. Shared definitions are a rare thing. The establishment of shared definitions is the essential first step of productive political discourse. But what is communism? Communism is a political ideology and a political and economic system. Many people use communism as a simple synonym for authoritarianism. It is my view that this is an unproductive use of the term communism. This definition is not justified by a serious analysis of the ideas behind the term. This definition is justified by a quick glance at the hideous regimes that have claimed to be communist. Often this definition of communism is also popular with anti-communists. People who call advocates of social welfare communists in an attempt to demonize them. People who deliberately conflate workers' rights and the welfare state with dictatorship and repression. They do this to demonize good ideas by associating them with bad ones through the use of incoherent definitions that describe both of these entirely different things. Sometimes communism is defined simply as authoritarianism. In colloquial conversation, this is very common. But there is another definition of communism that is based more around the ideas involved than the claims of historical regimes and the interests of right-wingers. According to this definition, communism is something entirely different. Communism is a stateless, classless society. A society where the means of production is owned and controlled by the community as a whole. A society where decommodification has occurred. Communism is international. There are no states and no classes. Communism is regarded as the inevitable and natural end state of economic contradictions and class conflict. Communism represents a society where these contradictions and conflicts have been reconciled, the final stage of a Marxist prophecy. Communism is the final stage of socialism. This is a more serious definition of communism that looks at the history of ideas, as opposed to simply the claims of authoritarian regimes and the interests of right-wingers. I think that this is the best definition. The term communism comes from a strong intellectual history. To use it as a simple synonym for authoritarianism is to waste the term and ignore that history. To use it as a synonym for authoritarianism is to shroud a significant idea behind the claims of a few cynical regimes. This is a mistake. It obscures a meaningful idea by redefining it as a mere synonym. We already have the word authoritarianism to describe authoritarianism. The term communism should not be wasted and used as a pointless synonym. To do such a thing is to ignore the rich intellectual and ideological force that is Marxism. And of course some people want this intellectual and ideological force to be ignored. Marxism scares them, but Marxism has value to offer. Redefining terms to destroy an idea is dangerous stuff. It is an assault on knowledge itself. We must resist it. We must remember what communism is. You can use the superior definition of communism without advocating it. I do not support every aspect of communism, but I still recognize this definition, because to do otherwise is to obscure political knowledge by condemning a useful term to be a simple synonym. You don't have to support communism to understand that seeking to eradicate concepts by redefining terms is a bad idea. Even if you oppose communism, you should at least understand what it is. You cannot oppose something for a good reason if you do not know what it is. You cannot support something for a good reason if you do not know what it is. Terms must not be redefined and concepts obscured simply due to the dishonest claims of dictators and the ideological interests of the right. To eradicate a concept by making a term a mere synonym is a terrible mistake. It is a mistake that we must resist.